Hey guys, welcome back to X's4 Podcast. This is the Daily X, where we bring you news, information, and discussions about your favorite Marvel comics, most notably the X-Men. I'm Nico, and you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at NicoAction. That's NicoAction. Now, in this next segment, Jonah, Nathan, Arturo, Blake, and Evelyn talk about the most recent issue of Way of X. Cy Spurrier and Bob Quinn's Way of X has been an incredibly unique X-Men experience, to say the very least, and its contributions to the Hellfire Gala were no different. Of course, could you expect less from a title featuring Legion and Nightcrawler? Sort of an all over the place, incredible hodgepodge of all the best parts of the X-Men's heart and soul. Now, if you guys like what you hear, hopefully you like what you see, and you guys give us a like and a subscribe here, and keep checking out the awesome content. And until then, enjoy this next segment.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of X's4 Podcast. I'm Nathan. You can find me online on Twitter and Instagram at DazzlerAOA.
And I'm Arturo, your friendly neighborhood Mr. Toybox on Twitter and Instagram.
And I'm Blake. You can find me.
Yes, he is.
Hi, Blake.
Hi, everybody. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Blake's Buzz. And you can go to blakesbuzz.com for a bunch of indie reviews and comic book news. And you can now find me on YouTube at Blake's Buzz. I'm everywhere. If you look under your cushion, you might find me.
Like
weird.
loose change, like loose change.
Yeah.
Okay, Blake.
And if you find any loose change under the cushions, please put them in the variant jar where Blake is collecting for his next variant.
Hey guys, I'm Evelyn, the Comic Canary. If you guys want to find me on Twitter and Instagram, I'm at comic_canary.
And I'm Jonah, and it feels like we're hosting our own kids' TV show. And you can follow me over on Twitter and Instagram at PeakJonah. And we hope you survive this experience, unlike the love between Mercury and Loa, because oh boy, did that turn sour very fast.
Oh my God, yes, it did.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, like Nightcrawler's liver, but what you did, Jonah, was even better. So today we are covering The Way of X number 3. It is written by Cy Spurrier, Bob Quinn on art, Java Tartaglia is the color artist, VC's Clayton Cowles is the letterer, and overall on the X line we have Tom Muller on design. The gala is well in full swing now. We've already seen the fireworks, and like any great party with an open bar, we already have our first office drunk, Nightcrawler. So we got to see a little of his exploits in these previous issues, but we got to see a little bit more of it now. Before we kind of get into the main crux of the story, and it is quite a story, what is your guys' favorite drunken Nightcrawler moment of the gala?
I mean, all of it. I've never really related to Nightcrawler more than in this party moment. I've definitely been there, done that. And I just love that he's such a happy drunk, and he's funny, and he's messy as hell, but he's just such a good guy. I love Nightcrawler.
The following morning was probably my favorite, when he's walking over all the confetti and the party leftovers,
Yes.
and he's like holding his head, and he's like, oh. I was like, oh man, yep, you guys nailed that. But when he steals the coffee from
Nemesis, yeah.
Dr. Nemesis, yep.
That was probably one of my favorite parts, because he's mentioning he had extra strong Krakoa coffee, and then he's like, bam, snag, and I was like, oh man, that would be so useful.
My personal favorite was Kurt talking to Kyle and North Star, saying how the first role is pretty heteronormative. And we're like, Kurt, you do realize that the term making babies, it always will be, and there's no conceivable way for North Star and Kyle to conceive a child, no matter how hard they try.
Oh, I bet Dr. Nemesis could help with that. And I'm here for it. We're gonna get into it.
We have to worry about eugenics.
Hey, eugenics. Ooh. Listen, eugenics. It's just.
Whoa!
It's not good.
I do have a lot to say.
It's not good public policy, but it would be good Krakoan stories. I'm ready to talk babies.
Let's not go on the support of eugenics right now.
No, of course not. Of course not.
Yeah, but I think my favorite drunken moment, you'd think it would be the one where he's trying to pull the microphone from Dazzler, and she's like, give me my fucking mic back. It's not a fucking grinder.
I am shocked that your favorite moment was the one panel with Dazzler.
No, you'd think it was that. You would think it was that. But my favorite moment was actually where like he's talking to Megan and he's like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm totally definitely over you." Like
Mm-hmm. I love Nanny's little cameo. Yes, yes, totally.
Yeah.
Nanny just fucked up. I love it.
I mean, honestly, for me, it was the Dazzler moment.
yes.
Because, like, I know people who, like, when they get drunk, they get, like, stuck on a topic and they need to tell everyone. And that's something that I can totally imagine, like, a couple of my friends doing. And Dazzler just being like, fuck off is beautiful.
My one complaint that was missing is drunken Nightcrawler bumping into Havoc and having Alex Summers explain to him the Madeline Pryor of it all. Like that's the conversation that I needed to see happen.
Oh my god, that would have been amazing.
Like, I'm trying to make more mutants, but you guys won't bring my girlfriend back.
Yeah. Make more mutants. Well, yes. How about we make more clones? Like
That's rough,
I want that to happen so bad.
And poor Kurt, he's like passed out in the corner when Magneto and Wanda have their dance. Like I'm like, fuck, that's a moment to miss right there. Like,
That's great though. It's great. I love that is a moment that happened, you know, and kind of like how we're seeing like the fireworks happen in different issues. It was cool to see this moment play out in a different issue.
That was probably the best moment of Sword. Well, no, I think the best moment of Sword was when Storm comes out and she's like, "No, Victor, you know my fucking name."
That was the greatest moment of the Krakoan era, possibly. But I
think so.
Hey, I mean, we kind of suspected something like that was going to happen. Like, you know, we had pretty much narrowed it down to either Storm or Iska. And, you know, so that was great. But I did not see Magneto and Wanda coming at all. So that to me was the moment of the comic because it was like so unexpected and so powerful. And to see it echo into Way of X was cool.
Pulled at my heartstrings. I was like, yes, but then I'm like, oh, how's she gonna get away with this? Now we get to the morning after, right? Like people are, you know, forced to deal with the repercussions of their last night, and Kurt has a hell of a hangover that he's got to get over. I think out of this scene, I think my favorite part of it is Dr. Nemesis and Dazzler having to sit next to each other like it's fucking Starbucks Krakoa in like the Green Lagoon. Like, you know, like they're out there looking for their Wi-Fi to like, you know, compose their whatever. But what did you guys think of that moment with Kurt and Nemesis and Legion in the Lagoon?
I mean, honestly, I had the same thought. I'm just like, there's a Starbucks on Krakoa. It was really fun for me because you see that. That's a thing that happens is you're at some coffee shop trying to do homework and there's some asshole playing music, some wannabe DJ. I'm not talking from personal experience. And it it was just a moment of just very real, like, this is the thing. And then just all of them talking, it was just really interesting conversations. When we get to later stuff, I have a lot to say, but yeah, that's I did enjoy this part.
I am a huge fan of the Araco, formerly Mars, after party. Like seeing the mutants like raving till dawn, that made me so happy. That is such a pure, like, beautiful thing. Like we're in such an era now where mutants partying in the background is becoming like a commonplace scenery that we keep seeing like in different moments, whether it's at the Green Lagoon, whether now it's at Mars. Like it's just so cool to see that like joy.
I just like to think that the whole island is like sprinkled with Krakoa and Molly. Like just everybody's just just covered in Molly dust, and it's just like this crazy rave. But yeah, I love that too.
Black Tom says, "You're welcome."
Pixie is Megan just going around Pixie. She's just going around spreading her wings.
We need to stop and talk about Pixie's hair. Pixie's look is such a serve. She looks She's never looked this cool. This is the
It
coolest
was
pixie
gorgeous.
of all time. I love this pixie.
So this scene was everything, and I may or may not have a very similar experience. It wasn't at a coffee shop, but this happened my freshman year of college, where I was in a very remote location that of my dorm building that nobody really went to, and I was trying to work on a project, and somebody else came up, and I will not name names, I will not dox anybody, but this person from my college wanted to be a rapper, and I sat there trying to listen to him rap. And you best believe I did listen to the entire album later, and it has cemented itself in my vernacular. Again, not to name names, but the phrase, and this is in a real rap that he produced and put on an album, thick hips with them bra full. I cannot. So I understand Dr. Nemesis's position here, but also you chose to sit there. That is your own fault. You know Dazzler hangs out there. That is on you. And to that I say, if you're from Maine, please do not rap.
I will say, like, on like seeing the mutants constantly partying, something in my heart just loves it, because mutants and X-Men, they've been through so much shit, like just beyond shit. And so having some time for them to just party, to let loose, to enjoy life, to enjoy themselves, I think that, like, I totally get it. If I was being a mutant and constantly being demonized and suddenly I have like freedom, oh fuck yeah, I'm gonna party. So I really did, like, just the partying in the backgrounds, like, I get it. And it's a total vibe, and I'm here for it.
I also think it's teasing us, because I really think shit's gonna go down in Inferno, and so I think the liveliness of the gala and this new wonderful Mars situation, and then these, the happiness of it all, and just it's like this giant celebration. Like, I feel like they're building us up to make the fall even greater, which is kind
Oh,
of,
I fully agree.
like, it's
Oh, yeah.
kind of scary too, but I'm like also excited about it, because I'm like, like, she's Miss Raven's gonna burn it down, like, it's coming, but like you keep forgetting about it because everybody's so happy and dancing and making the loves and making trying to practice and making babies, at least, which is that's the fun part, like, So, but yeah, I don't know, like, I just feel like they're kind of just teasing us in a sense, but I'm enjoying it, like, tease me please, but I keep thinking about, like, what's about to happen, because everything's going so well, like it's finally, I guess, other than the elephant in the room that we're gonna have to talk about later.
Oh yeah.
Right? I mean, I guess, like, not everything's going super well, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. And the elephant we're talking about is not the unfortunate.
Not the unfortunate Mammo Max.
I want to talk a little bit about Legion and Pixie's attempt to help Mercury and Loa connect. They're having trouble connecting because Loa shreds when she gets too excited, and thank God Mercury is just liquid mercury. But before we kind of jump into it, I do want to mention online there's been some chatter about this scene. Some people have been very unhappy in the way this was portrayed because they felt that, this is the first new same-sex coupling that we've seen in the Krakoan era. To have that sort of tragedy, they felt it was sort of going along with the bury your gays trope.
Yeah, this was like a roller coaster, because when we get to Loa and Mercury, I'm like, oh, word, here it is. Finally, a good lesbian relationship, not just like a kiss in the corner. And then, they're doing the mind merge thing, and it's like awesome. And then it gets really, really weird. And look, I think, hey, anyone's read on stuff is valid. Like, I understand people's frustrations.
Yep.
I still have my torch and pitchfork ready for when we storm the castle, because Karma and Mirage didn't kiss when Karma got resurrected. I'm still mad about that. Like, everybody, you're entitled to your feelings and whatever. It's all good. But my read on it was, yes, it would have been nice for this to go a nicer way for them, but I didn't see it as anything like that has to do with their sexuality. Like it could have literally been any couple and they could have experienced that, right? Like that cool euphoric thing, and then just like weird dark thoughts, and it gets a little too close and grimy. And so I don't know, people saw it as like a negative reflection on a girl and on girl relationship, and I just saw it as like about relationships in general, you know. And I was happy that the couple in question was two girls, like just seeing them, like I think it was, I think it does more good than harm, this part of the story.
These are going to be problems that we come across
Yeah.
because it's not going to be able to have like these wonderfully happy moments every time, or it just won't work.
Right.
It'll be they'll turn into boring stories, and we don't want that either. So yeah, there's still a lot of issues with sexuality and things that need to be addressed in all forms of literature.
Right.
And I think it's getting better, but it's like sometimes people try and then they still get mad. Now I don't. As a straight guy, I feel like I get nervous talking about stuff. Like I love everybody. I want everybody to be happy, and I want everybody to be characters to identify with in all forms of literature, in all forms of art, cinema, and everything.
Right.
And I think it's getting better, but
it's
I respect that
it's definitely
attempts.
getting better. It's definitely getting better. And I think it's important to remember, like, yeah, that, representation and all that stuff matters, but like beyond that, just like identifying these characters as lesbians, for example, or whatever the case may be, pan, bi, as the cases vary, those characters don't then become, a role model of that representation, or some like holy, cow that we can't sacrifice. Like, there's still characters in stories. They're still going to go through shit. They're still going to have their flaws and their problems and their hangups. And I think that's great. I think you can't say like, okay, these are now lesbian characters, so now we have to, protect them. Like, nobody, that's boring. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want them just, okay, let's marry them off and have them, raising a bunch of cats on Krakoa. Like, no, that's not a good story. That's not good. This is cool. There's a lot of disturbing stuff that Cy Spurrier is putting down. Like, we haven't even gotten to the Bower yet, and the baby situation.
yeah.
Like, there are things about this book that are a bit off-putting, a bit unsettling, a bit, whoa, that's not what I came here thinking this was going to be. But I think it's all being done intentionally. I think he's exploring these different cracks in Krakoan, foundation, and hopefully we'll start seeing like some solutions and some positive ways of addressing these things.
No, absolutely. Like, as a queer woman, I actually did enjoy this scene because, yeah, it kind of shows that queer couples are the same as hetero couples, where we do have issues. We do have fights and divorce and such. And showing this, I feel like, is equality, because it shows that there's also problems with same sex marriage and dating where it's like sometimes you're just not compatible. Because a lot of stereotypes I hear is like if you're a lesbian, you go on one date and then you end up married and moving in together.
No.
Which sometimes does happen. It's a trope for a reason.
I was gonna say, it is a trope for a reason.
I know and love several of those ladies, and it's all good. But yeah, that doesn't mean
same. I have a couple friends like that as well. But at the same time, this shows that it's not always like that, because you kind of also get that stereotype that gays will just fuck anyone and fuck around. And that's a trope for a reason as well.
Thank you for saying it, so I didn't have to. Totally. Oh.
It's just, I liked it because it does show like a part of reality that you don't really see from queer couples in media. And because the only like conflict you usually get, especially with female presenting couples, is that like one of them dies for tragic effect. That's a TV trope for a reason, is that a couple, two female presenting people, one of them always has to die. Looking at you, the 100.
Oh God.
It's so boring and tiring that that's the conflict they think has to happen. So having like actual real conflict is actually compelling.
Oh no, I agree. I'm so personally, like you said, I'm tired of bury your gays. Like, I see another fucking bury your gays kind of trope play out. like I'm gonna throw a fit. But this wasn't that. This was something real and specific to the mutant population, just the way that the powers are gonna get in the way of them being human and interact and being intimate and physical with each other. So I definitely agree with you on.
I also want to note that Loa and Mercury are two very young mutants, and I imagine coming into their own in terms of their sexuality, their womanhood or feminine presentinghood, and everything about whatever they are. They don't have the emotional intelligence to understand that other people are nuanced and have darker thoughts or might get more attached easily. They don't understand that people have flaws, and it's okay to say, well, these flaws just aren't for me, and I don't know if I can do it, or say, these flaws don't seem as big of a deal to me, and I think I can handle it. They're young queer women who realize that they got a little bit too far into their own head, and literally and psychically. I don't think they realize the amount of emotional maturity needed to not specifically do that, but just understand that people, not just mutants and anybody, are complex layers of beings, and we have darker sides where we think about killing our moms, or we might get so attached where we want to have 8 kids, and which ones will be adopted and which ones we might have a sperm donor for. I'm not too sure what Loa was thinking, but I don't know if we might need a mutant sex ed class on Krakoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a new podcast segment, ladies and gentlemen. Mutant sex ed.
Yeah, the whole scene kind of reminded me a little bit of Kitty and Colossus.
Yeah.
Because like their first time together, Kitty lost control and phased into a public room.
Still one of my favorite moments.
It's such a great comedic effect, and that was like one of the first times we saw like issues with mutant abilities in intimate situations. So seeing more of that again is really interesting.
That was very interesting. Now you've got me very distracted. I'm like blushing thinking about that. Because just suffice to say that moment with Kitty and Colossus did a lot to really, really solidify my obsession with Colossus. I was like, of course he would make her phase through it. Anyways,
literally pounded her through the floor. Is that what you're trying?
Oh my god.
Kate Pride, she gets all the cute outfits. She gets the hot.
Hold on. Cute outfit. You've seen her dress herself. Kate Pride needs to have a stylist, and it's very good that she can hang on to Emma now, because could you imagine when Kitty was 15 and she was walking around Emma in those outfits? Emma would have a conniption. And Emma would die like on the spot from an aneurysm. That her adoptive daughter would walk around like that.
That roller derby outfit, like from 150. Whoa, that is a cute outfit, all right.
Listen, people didn't know what to do with Betsy Johnson at the time either. Like some artists are just outside of your conventional norms.
You gotta post. Now. I'm wanting you to do like a lifestyle vlog where you post like photos of you like dressed up in Kitty Pride outfits, Arturo. That would be kind of amazing.
All in an elaborate ploy to Laura Colossus.
Also, like a lot of you guys were talking about, I think that telepathic relations, just the idea of two minds pretty much like just like joining in like in a mass, I don't think that's going to be for everyone, and I think that they should teach that in Krakoa. Like I think Blake had mentioned Krakoa and sex ed, like they should teach about telepathic relations in Krakoa and sex ed.
Yeah, just the part that I thought was going to cause issues, which I loved it, but I'm a dirty old man, and there was this
well, we have a soundbite.
There's the part where Pixie's like, oh my god, what's happening? What's going on? I love this. And they're just like, there's like looks of pleasure on the women, right? And while Legion's like got the electricity around their heads and stuff. And so there's like sort of this like, even their poses are kind of like
their toes. Yeah, you can tell. You see the toes, the back arch. I know that back arch. I know that very well.
And so I was like, I was, when everyone got, irritated about stuff, I was like, well, I thought someone would go after Psy for making Pixie like for a little like voyeur like creepstress, but I was like, I loved it. It made me laugh, and then I also thought it like the pacing was cool too. It was like cutesy and funny and
Mm-hmm.
sexy, and then it just gets weird as fuck. And I was like, okay, like I think Arturo, you said it was a roller coaster. Like it was definitely a ride. I was like, this is insane,
Yeah,
and I'm just
that's
not.
good
I'm not used to stuff
storytelling.
like this
Yeah.
in X-Men comics, like this is cool. Embrace. We've been talking about it for a long time. Make more mutants. This age of be free love on Krakoa, but so many like we don't get a lot of it. It's like stuff's mentioned or maybe someone kisses, but like let's get weird, let's get hot.
Hell
Make me
yeah.
sweat a little bit while I'm turning these pages. I'm cool with it.
And I love that this book is doing it, exploring these themes in such an interesting way. You're kind of like walking around with Nightcrawler and going through these different interactions. It almost kind of reminds me of like the Sandman universe, like, and I guess that's part of like the Legion of it all. Like Legion kind of has an effect where you're talking about, you're in the psychic plane and your, deep desires and thoughts and secrets, and it's interesting.
Yeah.
For sure.
I also want to note that they explain why it doesn't work literally like a page after, where Pixie goes, "But you and Blindfold were in love."
Right.
It's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. If you're actually in love with someone, you probably can't accept all of them. If you don't know someone very well, you're getting to know them. Maybe don't do a psychic mind meld.
And then it turns out
that is
it's
quite the first date.
and it's just Legion using them as bait. Like what?
Yeah, I mean that was another reason why it didn't work too, is because of the elephant in the room.
The elephant and not Mama Max. All right. So then we happen back upon Kurt just taking a lovely stroll through Krakoa when he's jumped on his ex-teammate Stacy X, who is running a mutant brothel again, but not really. It's more of like a mutant hookup.
Smack.
Like
I just
You'll get
smacked
smacked
you.
in the mouth,
Yeah.
sir.
But it's more like a mutant hookup spot, not really a brothel. But and she's watching and she's taking care of the babies that are just abandoned on
So
Krakoa.
separate things. I think we gotta separate those two things. But
I want to talk to something that happens right before then is the heartbreak in Kurt when he's like, "You're handing out
contraceptives.
Oh my god!
And
Yeah.
She's like, I thought you were supposed to be less Catholic.
She's like, oh my god, you're being serious. The sex sheriff. Yeah, I gasped when I saw Stacey X. I mean, I knew she was coming at some point, but like that was a surprise to me. Like, and I was reading it digitally, so it just like that panel appeared and I gasped. I was like, yes, Stacey X. I've been so excited to see her again on Krakoa, and I think it's cool that they're doing something different with her character. It's still very true to her, but rather than it being like sex work for the sake of survival, which I think is, it's a trope and it's a real thing. A lot of people go into sex work for that. I like that on Krakoa, she's evolving it or devolving it back to something more primal and just part of like humanity, since our beginning, right? And talking about temple sex and just like it's like a different way to get to the truth, right? It's like Stacey X now represents like this kind of tantric, belief power. It's really cool. It's a different way to, quote unquote, get to God, which I think is the foundation of what this whole book is really about.
Was anybody thrown by the fact that, yes, even though Kurt has gotten a lot less Catholic and religious in that way, in his quest to create the new mutant religion, he sort of adopted some of those old ways, those old norms, especially by throwing the fit about the contraception used in the Bower?
Oh, as a recovering Catholic myself, I can tell you that there is certain things that are just like that, that you have to deprogram yourself, and some of it is just like kind of hardwired, so yeah, I mean, I think he's post-Catholic nowadays, but I think that and I don't think you want to see him totally lose that. Like that's still part of his anatomy.
I was talking to Nico the other day and I apologized for something and he was like no, don't be sorry, it's not like a sorry thing, and I was like, yeah, I'm always sorry, and he was like, yeah, we were both Catholic. I was like
that
oh,
Catholic guilt.
yeah,
it
man,
just gets you.
it's real.
It's
and
real.
it stays with you. Like I was raised Catholic, right? So like my dad made a promise to my mom, whose family was very religious, that he, whatever kids they had, they'd put through private school. And so like, I went to private school, grade school and high school. And, like I mean, that's like most people who are in those situations. That's why I'm not religious anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, I was in a more liberal family. Like, I don't even think my parents really liked going to church that much, because it would be like, we were like the holiday church goers. Like, oh, it's Christmas, we should probably go.
Same.
Like, oh, it's Easter. And and I have one sister, so it's not like I have a family of like 6 to 8 siblings. Like, we had a pretty small family, so I was in kind of like a different Catholic scenario. But yeah, I really connect with this book on a lot of freaking levels, and it's crazy. Like, I feel like size in my head, and I'm like seeing Nightcrawler, and I've always loved Nightcrawler, but more of like I like swashbuckling Nightcrawler, like badass ninja Nightcrawler, and I really like this kind of confused, finding a new identity, a new way to believe Nightcrawler. It's very intriguing to me, and I love this book so much.
There is a thing about Nightcrawler, that a way that he's been written before as not spiritual leader, but like certainly somebody you can come to and confess stuff to, or kind of seek guidance from. And rather than him being in that position here it's like Nightcrawler as like a neophyte to beliefs. He feels to me like he's at the earlier stage of figuring something out, because everything that he has figured out before has been kind of blown away, right? It's all still there, but he's now starting fresh. So it's cool to see him kind of bewildered and trying to figure things out and a little off kilter.
For me, this section was almost uncomfortable. Because I also kind of come from a Catholic background. I'm a pastor's kid, type B for sure. And like, my mother was raised super, super Catholic. Her family is very conservative Catholic, Irish, Italian Catholics. And then we're Lutheran, which, even though we're ELCA, which is one of the more liberal ones, we're still kind of diet Catholic is what we joke. And coming from that background, especially being like a pastor's kid, being a PK, like, I definitely have a very strained relationship with religion. I won't get into like all the fun details, but for me, like, it's just something that I don't feel very comfortable with other people pushing religion, because that's something that I really struggled with, was having religion pushed on me. And seeing this with Kurt, it's like, I sympathize with the people that are annoyed by him, because, like, don't get me wrong, I love Kurt, but this whole scene was, I really liked that people were kind of like talking back and kind of putting him in his place, because I think it's very hard to sometimes, for all religions, for people to say, hey, this isn't exactly good that you're pushing this. We know where you're coming from, but maybe you can think about the consequences better, because coming from such a conservative Catholic background, like, you can't even say the word gay in front of my aunt without her fainting. And so coming out was a process. Let's just say that. Like, I think I've come out to my grandmother 3 or 4 times now, and she still doesn't quite get it. For me, it was like, yes, this is something important, because faith and religion is important to many people and can be very comforting to a lot of people. But on the other hand, people who have been hurt by religion and things that aren't quite right, I think it is good that we can have these discussions of of how it affects other people with how strict things can be. And for me, this section was just very important.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that. And I obviously make it no secret my love of Kurt Wagner Nightcrawler. I literally have him tattooed on my body. I loved the character so much, from his design to his powers to everything. And this was a really refreshing, in my opinion, take on Kurt, because it was nice to see someone trying to do good, but having the intentions be good, but the way going about it not the best, and having people call him out for it. And I think it was something really needed for Kurt. He thinks he's doing good, and he's trying to help, and he's trying to be a good person, and that's great. But the famous adage, the path to hell is paved with good intentions. He thinks he's doing good, and he is actively trying to be a good person and help, but the methods of which he's going about it aren't the best, and I don't think he realizes that yet. And I think he really needs that moment of many moments of people calling him out and many people educating him on the realities of how things work and how people actually are and want to believe and want to behave, that he has to kind of like put his own beliefs and his own personal rules aside to understand that not everybody's going to follow those, and that has to be okay.
Totally.
Where do y'all land on the situation with the babies? So I think there was a really good point that it's brought up. It's showing, I like how they're showing Krakoa as, a grandiose place. It is a mutant paradise, but there's still things they have to work out. There's still cracks in the foundation. The idea of the mutant babies just being abandoned or dropped off, and the parents not wanting to run them.
Specifically abandoned. Like the first one she says that she found was
she found in
crying
the
under a
forest, just
bush,
crying.
like left there. And
well, they don't have fire departments. You can't leave them
but
at
like
the fire department anymore.
Here's my thing with it. Like this would be a lot easier for me to accept if we had seen any other instances of mutants like trying to build a family, basically, for lack of a better word, right? Like Rogue is pregnant right now, or even just in the background, you just see like, two mutants and a kid or whatever. Like if that was kind of like a thing that was happening as well, then kind of seeing this other side to it, sure, like I kind of would accept that a little bit more. This to me just feels like it really paints Krakoa in a really bad light, because I can't imagine like you're, hunted and hated and feared, your whole life, and now you're in paradise. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there are some unwanted pregnancies, but there have to be some people there that are actually like keen on it. Like, yeah, I want to raise our little children, So I don't know. I mean, not to sound too, heteronormative about the whole thing, but this just kind of disturbed me a little bit. Again, I'm glad Cy Spurrier's exploring disturbing things and he's making us look at some of the things that are broken in Krakoa, but it was weird, and it a
weird.
Bit of a turnoff for sure.
Yeah, I didn't really know what to think of it. I was like, whoa, like it paints the mutants badly. They're all partying and just leaving their babies in the woods.
Yeah, fuck them
like,
kids.
What the fuck, man? Like, I'm laughing about it, but I'm laughing awkwardly because I don't know what to do or think about it. Like, when I saw this, I was like, whoa. Like I made the joke. It happens in real life. People leave babies places when they can't deal with it or take care of them and stuff. And that's a terrible thing. Like, when you hear stories about that, you're like, it like turns your stomach,
For
and
sure.
people get all worked up about it. And it's happening here. I mean, so I guess it makes sense that it happens here too, or should it make sense? Because I thought, humans are bad, mutants are good. They're supposed to be better than us in a sense, and are, like protectors of the world, and now the galaxy. They've expanded. Like how many babies are going to be on Mars just sitting under rocks and trees and shit?
The other thing I refuse to believe about this is that there's abandoned, for lack of a better word, genetic material on the island, and Sinister hasn't corralled all these babies and started a new orphanage. Because
oh god, we know where Sinister is with all babies.
There is precedence for that, and not out of the kindness of his heart, but certainly because of the potential, X factor that can be unlocked because of mixing and matching. Again, not to go back to the eugenics of it all, but there's something different about two mutants producing a mutant child than, just two schleps off the street having a kid, right? So there's just like, okay, there's potential here to like, we could make a whole new crop of cool characters. Ultimately, I think Sinister would be all over this.
Oh, for sure. I do have a lot to say right now.
Go for it. It is yours.
Go off, sis.
Okay. So the first thing I have is, I want to just say, for those who know me, I have several foster brothers who I consider my real brothers. They are family. Yeah. And so for me, I guess it does get slightly personal, because like I've seen these people, like I've seen these great now men become really good men because of basically my parents taking them in. Their families, in one case, actually did abandon them. And it's very difficult to see babies being abandoned. I get distressed by it, but it brings me to like the point where, one, what is it about mutant society that either they think it's okay to just abandon the baby, and or that they can't like go to someone and say, hey, I don't want this baby because of the stigma. And then that brings me to we should have abortion rights on Krakoa, where if it's an unwanted pregnancy, it's like, yeah, make more mutants, but like you should be allowed to like, you know, make your own choice. And if you don't think you can properly raise a child, then that should be okay. Like the X-Men is supposed to be so progressive, and the fact that this just comes off as so conservative, so yucky to me is the only way I can describe it. I sound like a fifth grader, but it's just yucky. And like it makes me just go fuck Charles Xavier, because like I feel like the stigma comes from the top, and it's just it definitely speaks volumes about mutant society currently on Krakoa, because again, it brings up like multiple issues, societal issues that need to be addressed. And sorry, Kurt, but the whole Catholicism thing of like no contraceptive, no abortion, like that's not gonna work. Like we need comprehensive sex ed. We need a place where people can be like, I don't want this pregnancy, so it should be okay that I do terminate it, because it's better than just fucking abandoning a kid. Like, I'm not going to get on a whole rant about like pro-choice versus anti-abortion, but that comes so much into play right here, and it's just what the fuck. And I don't want to call out the writers, but I mean fuck the writers in this case, because to me it kind of comes off that they are just saying it's just like, oh, the mutants, they just want to party, and if they have a kid they'll abandon it. And while I'm hopeful that this is a societal problem that will be addressed in the future, it partially comes off to just being like these kids just like having fun and abandoning their babies, because it just comes off as very misogynistic in some ways. And again, I love all these writers and I think they do a fantastic job, but it really comes off really shit to me. And that is my rant.
No. That makes a lot of sense, actually. And like just looking at it, I think the writer's intent was to show part of what you're calling for. You know, like actual comprehensive like reproductive rights on Krakoa. I know a lot of people have made comments about the one of the laws being make more mutants, being anti-reproductive rights. We're seeing the results of the societal poll where they are maybe not forcing people to have babies, but the society pressure is forcing people to have babies that are
it's
unwanted.
The first law.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, it's right there.
Fucking Christ, Xavier. You could fucking Charles Xavier. Like, even your own like children, whatever, are like totally fucked. And you're like, make more mutants? Like, fuck you.
It's such a. I love that they're bringing it up and they're letting us have these conversations about this. But my God, just that first law, it's so. And not only is that first law make more mutants anti-reproductive rights, it's very like has been mentioned earlier in this issue, very heteronormative, just very icky kind of.
Yeah. And like you get this like total heteronormative bullshit while also trying to be like X-Men are gay, pride forever. And it's like you're going for two different lanes here and they're about to like crash.
Yeah.
I will crash it. Crash the system. Sorry.
Burn it all down.
Crash the system. CYS. This begs a question, and this is not to. There was very beautiful points that you made, Evelyn. And I don't want to make light of anything, but it also begs the question: was Kurt fucking Amanda without condoms?
Oh, yeah. well, okay. So like, she's not his real sister. She's only his foster sister.
I am on the side of they are. It is the best worst case scenario of that situation because they are adoptive siblings that didn't really grow up together.
Right.
So like, and Kurt also forgot about his entire backstory of growing up with adopted siblings when they were fucking until that one birthday where Margali summoned him and was like, "You're actually my adoptive son."
I literally just imagine Nathan opening his briefcase to like begin the defense of Amanda Sefton and Kurt Wagner.
Well, okay. So like love the character separately. Yeah, no, that relationship has run its course, and I cannot defend the relationship as it was presented to us when we were kids, or whenever you started reading. But yeah, I can't defend the relationship. I still love the characters. But
one good thing in all this baby mess, Lost has a job, and Lost is living her best life, and I am obsessed with Lost.
What was once lost is now found.
No one tell Nanny about this place.
Oh my god.
See, I disagree. Nanny should 100% be here. Like, Nanny doesn't hurt the babies. Nanny's great with babies.
She loves the babies. And she's got a whole suit for nurturing, too. Like, hello.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Where the fuck is Nanny? She probably doesn't even know about this place.
Not yet.
Let's see some Nanny in there. Because, again, like, I want more mutants to know about the place. Like, make it public. Like, one, like, not to, like, shame the people abandoning their babies, but, like, kind of to shame them for abandoning their babies, even though there is, like, the whole societal thing that I just talked about. But, but also, like, by making this an aware issue, that's the only way that you can really do change, is by making the issue out in front. But also, like, other mutants that are pretty maternal and paternal, who do like children and kind of like want someone they can take care of, that would be a really great option too. And also, when she says like adoption isn't a thing on Krakoa, it's like, what about people who can't have children, like the gays that you keep pandering to, and those of us who are infertile, like me? And it's like, I want to adopt because I still want a child even though I can't have any. And it's like, what the hell are you doing, Krakoa? And again, I can't help but like kind of yell at the majority male writers here.
Also, what are they gonna do? Like, there's a baby just in the forest, and they're gonna say you have to leave it, you can't take it and raise it? Who's gonna stop them?
Has anyone fucking read, oh my god, who's the guy that fucks his mom?
Oedipus?
Oedipus, yeah.
Okay.
Read Oedipus on Krakoa? Like, you abandon a child in the woods and he's gonna come back and kill you. That's like every Greek myth. Do they not know like the Greek myths? And it's not just the Greeks, it's the Romans. Like, there's several in like Africa about it. There's a lot of Chinese ones. Mistakes are made and consequences will happen.
Where's the Oedipus Rex trilogy of the mutant kind? Oh my god.
So that's the Madeline Pryor and Nate Gray story? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, I mean,
maybe.
Oh my god. Well, then you need to have Nate Gray go blind and have a daughter who's like the best character named Antigone, and you need to also have Nate have two sons who are misogynistic and fuck all and just try to fight each other, and Antigone has to be the one to take care of her blind father. The Oedipus Rex trilogy is so misogynistic, it's so bad. Don't read it.
We were forced to read it in English class, and I just remember being angry the whole time.
Same. Oh my god. He
fucks
his mom.
Yeah, he does.
like no one was like, oh, he kind of looks like me a little bit, and like my husband that he just killed. Oh, you know what? It's fine.
Has anyone thought of the possibility, and this is me just trying to think that there's got to be like rhyme for the reason, right? What if Krakoa's growing babies?
Whoa.
Because it can grow anything they want, it grows. There's fucking donut trees. There's coffee plants that they don't there's pizza plants. There's bagel plants. There's all this stuff that like grows.
I think Krakoa would definitely tell. Oh my god,
Black Tom,
Crypt.
Doug.
Yeah.
Black Tom, Doug. Yeah.
Yeah, like,
well, Doug's busy.
Doug's busy.
So Doug's not talking to Krakoa as much these days.
Doug's busy making more babies.
Doug is
busy. Doug is busy getting pegged.
You're right. Doug is getting pegged. That's totally his vibe.
One is in what is called a fuck fog.
Yeah, so his ears are ringing constantly. Yeah. You can't hear Krakoa.
But Krakoa has ways of talking to him, and he would not Krakoa would definitely possess someone again and just walking on them having sex, and she's like, you guys continue, I just need to talk to Doug. Like, I would have
just a casual conversation while Bay's inside of Doug, and Doug's like, yeah, what's up?
Like, I left some babies in the woods for you guys.
Yeah.
Someone go grab them.
Hey, Bay, I know you're busy pegging Doug with Warlock, but hey, Doug,
we talked about voyeurism before. I'm pretty sure Warlock is super into it.
Yeah.
Super into it. Yeah.
Self-friend is sweaty.
Self-friend feels weird and downstairs. Doug friend, what does this mean for self-friend?
Oh my god. So before we talk about the big, well, no, let's talk about the big reveal of the psychic parasite real quick. So that was interesting, right? With Loa and Mercury, how Legion is able to suss out this psychic parasite. What were you guys thinking when that happened? I thought it was kind of cool.
I really dug that we finally see like onslaught for onslaught. Like,
right.
I loved that final page, and then we know, right? Like the title's changing, or there's going to be like another mini series. Like it was.
Yeah, it's flipping into another mini series,
which they were describing as season 2 of Way of X, and I love that description.
Yeah. I bet you're super salty about that too, because you're like, where's my season 2 of X-Men?
See, I'm not mad about it, because with my experience working in a comic shop, you always get these people that they really genuinely want to start reading comics, but then they see like Wonder Woman is at like 753, and Detective Comics is like over 1,000. And people get really, really intimidated by that. And so by having the story arcs renumbered, while I personally would love to have just go to 100, go to 200, give it all. Yeah, I feel like this is a way Marvel is trying to like kind of get new readers to continue reading.
For sure. And nothing sells better than, number ones, right? But then it's problematic for us, the people that are reading all of it, because then you're like, oh, X-Men number 1. Okay, which one? Like which X-Men number 1 are you talking about?
Not to mention, that's one of the things that led to the crash of 93.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely.
So it makes me nervous.
Yeah.
My favorite part, to bring a parallel to another, very popular franchises, I know it's why a lot of people who are into anime might not get into like the big shonen ones, because you look at One Piece that's on like 1,000 episodes, you look at Naruto, it's on like 3 different seasons that all have like almost 500 episodes. Not really, but like you look at like Fairy Tail, and that has like over like 400 episodes, and you're like, why? It's very intimidating to try to want to start this, because you're like, well, I'm never going to catch up. So I do get that, but like that does breed its own problems. My favorite part of the psychic stuff was the Zorn brothers, and Pixie being like, why are the Zorn brothers here? And Damon's like, they're with me. I love Zorn. So this makes me happy, because like in like Way of X, they've just been like around in like the like back of like panels of like you could like kind of see them floating there, and like I'm really happy that they're really there now.
Yeah, that was one of the first times we've seen them in a long time, if ever, right? Since the reboot. Like I don't remember really seeing them ever.
Been in the background, but I don't really. Yeah, they haven't been as forefront of the background as they are now.
It's like Dazzler syndrome, man. Like, why are they hiding all these great characters from us? It's so weird. At least we're getting these like one panel snippets of Dazzler now. But even then, it's like one freak. Well, okay, nope. This issue we get the scene at the end too.
I was like, well, speaking of Dazzler syndrome, what a great way to segue to that last little, like, what I can only describe as the sitcom wrap up of the episode, where they're all sitting at the bar and like, just talking about what happened. One, stand Stacey X for standing Dazzler, but then go ahead. Sorry.
Shout out to Legion for getting the biggest, most ridiculous drink possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, so this is like the next day, right? And they're still in their gala gear?
Well, yeah. Nightcrawler's whole adventure has been since he like woke up in the corner where he passed out.
Right.
And he's like literally just stumbled through the issue like he stumbled through the evening of the gala, like just kind of like telling everybody what they don't want to hear. And he's like, but I'm not, now I'm hungover. And then I love how it ends with him with another drink. I like that a lot. I like how he's like, oh, fuck it. Hey, where's the gin?
Hey, that's the solution, right? The hair of the dog that bit you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's also just the solution for everything. I mean, alcohol cures all problems. If you have a wound, you pour it on it.
We cannot
if you have
endorse
a wound on the side, you drink it. It's fine.
We do not support alcoholism in any fashion, way, or form. If you feel like
please
you have
drink
a problem,
responsibly.
please drink responsibly. Reach out to help. Find your local AA chapter.
Please reproduce responsibly.
Please reproduce responsibly.
Do not drop your babies off in the forest, please.
Yeah, leave them.
No.
Leave them at a fire station like a classy individual. Do not leave them.
No.
Why a fire station? Just bring it straight to the source. Very, 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 very side tangent. It makes me think of Phineas and Ferb, where one of the characters, Dr. Doofenshmirtz, his own parents didn't show up for his birth.
Wait, Nathan, I gotta ask you: are you terrified or hopeful that this little dance between Dazzler and Dr. Nemesis leads to anything?
Oh God! Well, you know what? It's better than her and fucking Longshot. So sure, whatever. If she shows up more because she's fucking Dr. Nemesis,
Wait! Everybody, stop! Hold the phone. You are anti-Dazzler and Longshot?
I am anti-Longshot and Dazzler. Yes, because now it's not Longshot's fault, but she got shipped off to fucking Mojo World for like 10 years and never seen except for like maybe like 3 issues.
Right.
So.
So you're just mad about that, like as like collateral damage to the character?
Yeah, probably more of that. Like Longshot,
because like they're such a cute couple. To me, like Longshot and Dazzler were kind of, you know, like a Scott and Jean, or back then, like I would have said like Lorna and Alex. Like I thought that they were kind of destined to be together. Like
so, all right. So the real disdain for it comes from the way, you know, like they were just kind of pushed together. Dazzler was like, "Oh, hey, you're cute," and then he's like, "What the fuck is sex?" He's like, "What is all this stuff on Earth?" And like, then bam, like next time you see him, they're like married, you know, kind of thing. So it was kind of pushed.
Well, if we're going to say that, Dazzler has canonically had a lot of issues with falling a little too fast in love with male characters, which is not her fault. That is the male writer's fault.
It is.
That shouldn't have never have happened to begin with.
Dazzler making bad decisions and questionable decisions, having bad taste, and that's
icons
part
only.
of her.
But in the original Dazzler run, she had in 20 issues at least, I want to say 5 different love interests.
Yeah, there was like Ken the lawyer and like some other random guy, and like
Ken the lawyer. There was another. There was Angel. There was Quasar. There was another guy too. They like almost tried to make it a will they won't they between, I think, like her band manager, like her, like not the manager,
not Harry, but
whoever would like moved her band's equipment.
Oh yeah. And Rogue was a little like into Dazzler in that way in that series too. So, like, yeah.
Oh yes, Rogue was like literally obsessed lesbianically with Dazzler.
Yeah.
I love this. I love this cast, you guys. Like at those last 2 pages, you're kind of seeing like our cast is rounding out, you know, and this is a great little crew.
It is. I love this. I hope we get to see more of Fred Duke in these pages, because like we need some soft Fred running his bar. But like, yes, please. This is a great cast.
It's not the group that I would have thought, you know, oh, there's a Way of X book. Like there were, I think, more obvious solutions for like different faiths and different beliefs or whatever that might come together with Kurt, and this is like all over the place, you know, but each of these characters does play with, you know, belief to some degree.
Hey guys, if you like that cut from X's4 Podcast, you'll be sure to like some of our other materials. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out these other amazing videos here at X's4 Podcast.